Hi, I'm Gizem Aluç, Senior Legal Engineer at nmaistro. Today, I will walk you through how nmaistro analyzes a complete court case end-to-end and transforms it into executive-ready litigation insight. In this use case, we are exploring case analysis with agentic litigation intelligence using nmaistro. You will see how nmaistro takes a full court case dossier, extracts the procedural and factual chronology, maps the parties' arguments and supporting evidence, and turns the entire file into a structured artifacts, culminating in a decision-ready legal briefing. nmaistro is an executive orchestrator. It's designed for work that spans litigation files, procedural timelines, evidence, legal authorities, and written outputs where completeness, sequencing, and traceability matter. Instead of manually reading hundreds of pages, building chronologies, and stitching arguments together, you define the objective, and nmaistro coordinates everything in between. In this scenario, the objective is clear. Analyze a real court file end-to-end and generate structured outputs that make the dispute understandable at a glance, procedurally, factually, and legally. The file is Istanbul Anatolian 15P Civil Court Case Number 2022/965, an eviction dispute based on legally acquired ownership and housing necessity under Turkish Code of Obligations, Article 350, 351, and 353. We begin by retrieving the complete case dossier. Connect to the Muhakemet MCP and locate the case file number 2022/965 of Marco Pasha. Retrieve the complete case dossier, including all procedural documents, pleadings, evidence submissions, expert reports, interim decisions, and annexes, and confirm that the file is complete before proceeding with analysis. Review all documents contained in the case file and generate a procedural history artifact that clearly presents the case file chronology. List all procedural steps, filings, hearings, and decisions in strict chronological order, including dates, parties involved, and the procedural relevance of each step. On screen, nmaistro first structures the workflow, defining the analytical framework before the extracting conclusions. Only after confirming that the file is complete does it generate the procedural history artifact. The result is a clean, chronological procedural timeline from the statement of claim to hearings, interim rulings, expert appointments, and the current procedural posture. The entire litigation sequence becomes readable in minutes. Then we move from procedure to substance. Based on the full case file, identify all dated events, facts, actions, and legal situation relevant to the dispute. Produce a journey diagram artifact that visualizes these elements in chronological order, clearly showing how the dispute evolved over time, and briefly describe the factual and legal significance of each event, fact, or situation. On screen, nmaistro generates a legal case journey dashboard. The structured case header remains fixed at the top. Below, the dispute organized into color-coded categories: lease foundation, ownership change, notice issued, hearing, expert examination, decision pending. Each event appears with its date, classification, and legal relevance. This is not just a timeline, it's a visual map of how the dispute evolved over time. The case becomes something you can navigate, not just read. Next, we move from chronology to the parties' arguments. Connect to the legal practice MCP and extract all claims, defenses, counterarguments, and rebuttals raised by the parties. Match each argument with the specific evidence submitted in support of it, and generate a structured argument atlas artifact that clearly maps claims, defenses, and evidentiary support in readable and comparative format. Once the prompt is submitted, nmaistro activates its agent orchestration layer. The appropriate legal analysis agent is selected, guidance is retrieved from the Mecellem Legal Practice MCP, and a structure mapping schema is defined. The argument atlas dashboard is then generated. Arguments are organized and filterable: procedural arguments, substantive arguments, evidentiary claims, legal framework references, rebuttals. Each entry displays the claim, the legal basis, the opposing response, the supporting evidence, and where applicable, the court reaction or status. Arguments can be expanded to reveal detailed reasoning and evidentiary support. The litigation file is transformed into a structured argument map, where legal positioning and evidentiary strength become immediately visible. Now we isolate what the parties rely on legally. Identify all doctrinal references and Court of Cassation decisions explicitly cited by the parties within the case file. Extract these references accurately, indicate where they are cited, and briefly explain their relevance to the disputed legal issues. Once the prompt is submitted, nmaistro performs a comprehensive analysis of the case file documents to extract all cited authorities. On screen, we see a structured authority extraction. Citations are categorized by pleading, separated into doctrinal sources and Court of Cassation decisions, and linked to their exact location within the file. For each authority, nmaistro identifies where it's cited, the chamber and decision details, and its relevance to the dispute issues. What emerges is not just a list of citations, but a structured legal authority map embedded within the litigation record. Next, we move from citation to verification. Connect to the Malumat Light MCP and retrieve the Malumat links for the Court of Cassation decision you referenced above. nmaistro connects the Malumat Light MCP and retrieves the official Malumat entries for each cited decision. On screen, we see full chamber details, file numbers, decision dates, and direct Malumat links. Every citation becomes traceable, every authority becomes verifiable. The legal analysis is no longer implicit, it's fully connected to its source. Finally, we transfer the entire analysis into a practical advisory deliverable. Using all information gathered and artifacts produced throughout the previous steps, prepare a concise but comprehensive legal briefing note, summarizing the procedural history, factual background, chronological development of events, parties' arguments and supporting evidence, relevant doctrine and Court of Cassation case law, and a reasoned assessment of key legal issues and potential outcomes. Structure the documents a clear information note suitable for legal advisory purposes. Then reply to the email starting with Dear Gözde, incorporating the briefing note as the substantive response, attach or embed as appropriate, and send the email via Microsoft 365 MCP to Asya Türkmen, maintaining a professional and advisory tone. It then drafts a professional reply beginning with Dear Gözde and prepares the email